Remember Jocasta Nu, the librarian of the Jedi archives from Star Wars, Attack of the Clones and the Clone Wars? Well, what actually happened to her? Did she even survive Order 66? Well, the second volume of the Darth Vader Marvel comics that I've made other videos on in the past tells us exactly what she has been up to. Also, you don't have to, but if you want to see the first two videos that I made on this comic book series, I'll put them on screen and in the description. It starts not long after where we left off with the last video on this comic book series. On the first page, Vader is towering over the sixth brother with his lightsaber ignited. "It's only an arm," Vader says as we see the sixth brother holding his amputated arm in agony. Vader walks away as he unignites his lightsaber, turning to the Grand Inquisitor. "Lord Vader, I must protest. What will chopping off sixth brother's arm possibly teach him? Loss. He will never forget it." "None of them will," Vader replies as we see the rest of the Inquisitors also with amputated limbs. Vader then goes on to explain to the Grand Inquisitor that the other Inquisitors are not ready and still fight like Jedi. Because if you didn't know, the Inquisitors actually used to be Jedi, even the Grand Inquisitor. Because of this, Vader takes it upon himself and the Grand Inquisitor to eliminate the first few targets of a list of Jedi that survived Order 66. "We will begin by hunting those Jedi who may have survived Order 66, Vader says. "This one, Jocasta Nu, she is given extra emphasis, but I do not know why," the Grand Inquisitor begins. "Frankly, I'm surprised she survived the Purge. Why, I don't think I saw her fight once, not in all the years It is not your place to question. If the Emperor wishes her destroyed, I will see it done," Vader says. We cut to Jocasta Nu herself, who seems to be creating a recording for a new Jedi holocron. "Whoever is seeing this, it's up to you now. Don't let our deaths have been in vain," she says, and with a slight hand gesture, the holocron turns from the color green to blue, and the recording replays. An unknown man holding a cup of tea enters the room. "Are you finished, Jocasta?" he says. "Yes, one more holocron complete. Is that tea?" "Yes, I thought you might be tired." "Gar, you're a marvel," Jocasta says as they trade items, Gar giving Jocasta her tea, and Jocasta giving Gar the holocron. "What's in this one?" Gar asks. "My last words." "Excuse me?" "My light dims. What the Sith couldn't do, time most certainly will. This holocron includes my thoughts on the purpose of my order, the light it brings to the galaxy, why it must never be allowed to die, and why it never will," Jocasta says as she walks away. "Please put it with the others. I have more work to do," she says as she sits down, pulling out another holocron from a basket. "Master Jocasta, forgive me, but you've been working for days, with little rest. You will exhaust yourself. Let me ask you, is my work complete? And is there anyone who possesses the knowledge I hold from decades of maintaining the Jedi archives?" "Well, no, I suppose not," Gar replies. "If my work is not complete, then I must work." Okay, so it's clear that Jocasta Nu, even after Order 66, is still maintaining some sort of Jedi archive on whatever planet this is on. But what for? We go to Vader and the Grand Inquisitor walking through the Jedi Temple. "You know, I always hated Jocasta Nu. She looked down on me, I could tell. Never gave me full access to the archives. Always hovered when she did let me read a data file or two. I can't wait to kill her. And then, I'm going to read every blasted thing in this place," the Grand Inquisitor says as they enter the Jedi archives. "Your task is to search the archives for clues as to where surviving Jedi might be now. Personal information, family connections, anything. Do not delay. Do not fail," Vader says. "Don't worry, Vader. I've waited my whole life for this," he says as he grabs a holobook from a shelf and begins reading it. We go back to Jocasta Nu, as we see her on the edge of a cliff with a bright blue glowing holocron in her hand. She jumps off the cliff, landing onto a rock in front of a waterfall. She walks right through the waterfall, revealing an entire base, with even what seems to be an old Jedi fighter. "Done," she says. "Good, I'm glad," Gar replies. "I've made us some food. I thought we could talk about what's next." "I know what's next, Gar," Jocasta says as she inserts the last holocron onto the shelf. Gar makes a few suggestions on what they might do next, as Jocasta stops in her tracks, staring at a box on her bedside table. "Oh no," Gar says as she goes over to the table and picks up the box. "Jocasta, you don't need that anymore. Your work is done. This archive doesn't need you to maintain it. It will be ready for the next generation of Jedi, whenever they appear in the galaxy." "Oh, my friend, don't you see? I haven't built an archive here. I've built a school. I have to leave now. There's something very important I have to get. It will be extremely dangerous to retrieve, but letting it sit where it is could be even more dangerous. I don't understand, Jocasta. What could be so important? What is worth the risk? I just told you this is a school. A school needs students. Okay, so this is very interesting. So Jocasta Nu actually did survive Order 66, and she's just been creating a new Jedi archive, or at least a bunch of holocrons with information on the Jedi and the Force. And the reason why she has built this archive is so that the next generation of Jedi can learn about the Force, which will keep the ways of the Jedi alive. Anyway, stay tuned for the next video on these comic books if you want to find out how Jocasta Nu will find these students for a school. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a comment down below, leave a like, and subscribe if you want to see more.